whatever shrimp, whatever that is.
Well, it was basically,
hors d'oeuvre.
John F. Kennedy, Robert F. Kennedy, and Teddy Kennedy was going to run for office he was in the primary mix. And he goes, what do we get here? Shemp Kennedy instead of Curly for the Three Stooges.
Oh.
Moe, Larry, and Curly. You get Shemp, and it's like, oh, who wants to watch this? we want Curly. We want a real Three Stooge.
So speaking of Three Stooges, here we are. Welcome, everybody, to the Less Than Yesterday show. I'm your host, Joe Braymeyer. I brought in a couple good pals of mine for a little bit of after-hours special here. And don't forget, we are powered by your friends over at Treadmill Heroes, where we specialize in new and used fitness equipment for your home and facility. And we even have infrared saunas right now, and you guys need one. You should go in halvesies and then take turns going out to Ted's barn and sitting in the infrared sauna.
What is that, kind of like just broiling a hot dog or what?
It's a dry heat, isn't it?
Yeah, it's infrared, so it's not like the old ones where you take the wooden spoon of water and it's all steamy. It's like infrared heat. So when you ask, is it like cooking a hot dog, metaphorically and literally, yes. Depends on if you sit in there naked or not. But yeah, it's actually super relaxing.
I had never heard of that technology before.
Yeah.
Really?
You just sit in a hot box and it cooks you. And you get all sweaty, but when you get out, you feel like you've just taken a bath in the fountain of youth.
Really?
Yeah.
So it is good for you.
It is really good for you. So the brochure says. I always feel good when I get out of mine.
As long as it's on the brochure, that's all that matters.
Are we having a sale on those until the 1st of January?
Yes. Now until the end of the year.
Oh, good.
But supplies are limited. Demand is high. Price is low. So that's a perfect storm for us selling out quickly.
Wow.
Did that work well?
Yeah, thank you for asking.
You're welcome.
Thank you. So I've got Ted Marolf here, and I've got Lynn Ochiltree, Doc Och, which I really hope that nickname catches on. Do you mind? Do you not like that nickname, or do you not care?
Well, my nickname in high school was Och, so it's kind of close, I guess.
Okay.
Och?
Och.
I like Doc Och.
Yeah, Doc Och is pretty good.
Because I'm really
Sounds like a Bond's 007.
Bring the mic closer to you, Lynn.
Bond 007.
Yeah, there you go.
Evil nemesis.
I know.
Doc.
Well, Dr. Octopus.
Doc Ock, yeah.
Ock. Spidey
From Spider-Man.
Nickname.
But Doc Ock was a super smart guy. He's a scientist.
Yes.
And he got these superpowers. But, as I'm promoting this thing where I'm trying to give you more work and have you teach a semester up at the school.
Tentacles. Does have a lot of tentacles.
Yes. So. And he's strong and brilliant and good looking. And, all the other villains look up to him. But, you can't have heroes without villains.
Oh,
that's true.
The villains make the hero.
True.
Really, without a strong villain, the hero's nothing.
Correct.
Otherwise he's just out mowing his lawn with nothing really to do, unless he has a strong villain to.
Just like George Burns and Gracie Allen.
Really.
Yeah.
Well, and speaking of villains and heroes, Ted, give us if we were staying on the 12th floor and we just got into the elevator on the bottom floor and we're going to ride together up to the 12th floor, and I say, how was Disney World?
And I have.
And you have till we get to the 12th floor. Tell us how Disney World, what is Disney World up to these days?
Well, Disney World is an incredible conglomeration of vendors and rides and equipment and systems and processes. And it is so huge, no one has ever seen it all at one glance, except from the space station.
Certainly.
They could see that. So I would say it is a once-in-a-lifetime goal that every family in America should go to Disney World to see what it's like, so that you don't have to listen to everybody tell you what it's like. You know for yourself. And it's really like being in a subway at 5 o'clock rush hour all day, every day. If you like that sort of thing. It's
with children.
Well, you got to look out for your children. And, it's just, you can turn around and you go, oh, how much did we pay for this?
Right. Like, I wanted to know, what'd you do for lunch today?
Today?
Yeah, what did you have for lunch? Because you just got back from Disney.
Well, what did I have for lunch at Disney? Or
no, my point is, wasn't it nice to be able to eat lunch today for less than $38 for yourself?
It was great to get back home. Yeah, I bought a BB-8 balloon for my grandson for $22. Well, I thought that was a bargain. And, yeah, a bag of popcorn and a Coke was about $17, $18.
That's reasonable.
Yeah, they have you. They know you're there.
Oh,
they know you're probably not coming back if you're from out of state, because it'll be like, oh, well, that's enough for me. Although there are people we all know that live down there and have annual passes and stuff. Yeah.
Lynn, do you have any desire to go to Disney World these days?
I've been to Disney World, and that was about 5 or 6 years ago. Christian was 9, I guess, whatever that would be.
Well, that's kind of a good age.
16 now, yeah. But we were down there for a funeral directors conference, and so half the day was business and half the day was fun. But the first moment we took Christian to the park, he started crying and crying and crying, and he wouldn't stop crying, and Brenda couldn't get him to stop crying, and we realized now that it was noise. The noise bothered him, all the noise. And I grabbed his arm and I said, "We're in the happiest place on earth.
You're going to be happy, damn it.
Be happy." I feel bad for that moment, but yeah, we ended up figuring out it was just too much stimulation for him.
It is a kid's thing. 12-year-old Raylan, 9-year-old Zella, and 3.5-year-old Orion. So memories for the kids.
Yeah.
And the grandparents, it was something we could do for the kids. So.
Yeah.
Well, and you got the $200 photo pass to prove that you went, even if they don't remember every waking moment of it.
Right.
Well, I'm in the process of putting together a 9-hour video of the entire trip.
Yeah, that sounds about right. That sounds very Ted, a 9-hour slideshow, but it'll be wonderful.
It'll be wonderful. It'll be gorgeous. Yes, absolutely.
When do we get invited over to see it?
Oh, I'll send you the link. I don't want you at my house.
You don't want.
That's going to be a link that's going to take 4 days to download.
That's right. It's about 14 gig. Unless you've got your fiber connection from WTC, it's going to take a while.
Real reboot.
Lynn, have you rebooted from the Candy Kitchen, the walk through the Christmas walk, the window walk down the Candy Kitchen?
Great. Yeah, it was great. Had wonderful attendance that night. The weather was amazing.
I saw pictures posted. It really looked neat. Mm-hmm. Everything that was going on. I saw a little bit. I saw a little bit of your live show from the Candy Kitchen at the back booth.
Yeah,
and the train was there, and the Santa Clauses were there, and it just really looked like a real festive time in town.
It was great. Yeah, I think the numbers were probably a little better than last year, but lots of participation by the kids. They love the kind of the search for the Grinch stuff that we had looking around for the library. It was a lot of fun.
Well, that's what I found fascinating when I could tell it was packed, and my back was to the front door the whole time. And there was just a steady flow of people in and out. Your museum got a lot of foot traffic too. Wow.
Yeah, we purposely put the Dr. Seuss book page they were looking for in the museum, one in the main room, one in the museum. So, but yeah, the museum got a lot of traffic. So it was good. It was a good night.
Well, we're on the Christmas home stretch right now, but I didn't want to get too lost in the sauce with the Christmas stuff because I want to keep focusing on the Wilton history stuff.
Okay.
And that's why I wanted to bring you back here. And I figured it would be unfair of me to just hoard all this history by myself. So I invited Ted to come over here and hang out with us too. So Lynn, from the archives, from the treasure chest, what did you bring us today?
Well, do you want to pick? What looks fun?
Let's start with the railroad spikes. What's up with those?
Okay. So these actual railroad spikes are from the plug line, which ran from Muscatine to Wilton.
What was the plug line? Was that what the train route was called?
The train route from Wilton, that was the junction to Muscatine, was called the plug line. And these were actually rescued from the Mud Creek. And there's still some bridge pilings down in the Mud Creek, but these were rescued. I think Brenda and Christian and I took an adventure down there. Well, I took an adventure. Brenda and Christian went with me. I'm not so sure they were as excited about it as I was, but down there a few years ago and rescued. We got a few of the spikes and a few of the braces for the bridge.
When did they tear that line out?
Well, the plug line was put in 54 to 56 was the time frame, and so the first train I think that ran through Wilton was in 55 or 54.
1954?
18.
Okay, yeah, all right, 1854.
I was going to say, I didn't remember that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Were you alive in 54?
Yeah. We used to find those spikes in the dirt road outside our house.
So how do you know these came from that plug line?
So these all were these are all rescued from the bottom of Mud Creek.
And that line, I'm assuming, then ran over Mud Creek.
Mud Creek and went south and went down to Summit, Iowa. This particular line was in use until 1934. And it was in 34 that the line was disbanded, and the highway from Muscatine to 38 was starting to be developed at that time.
What kind of contraband were they hauling on this train between Wilton and Durant? It just went back and forth?
Wilton to Muscatine.
Wilton to Durant. Yeah. Wilton to Muscatine, back and forth. What were they hauling?
Mostly people. And goods, of course. Everything that came through the depot in Wilton was then transported to Muscatine. That wasn't ferried over the river. See, Muscatine didn't have a river bridge. Davenport had the river bridge, which went across. Actually, the first finished route of rail line from east of the Mississippi or west of the Mississippi was from Davenport to Wilton, and that route was finished first, and then the bridge was built later. Not much later, but after 1856, it was built. The bridge across to Muscatine wasn't built until I hate to say anything. I think 1867. So everything that was coming west, so that's why Wilton was such a big hub, was because everything going west from Davenport came here, and if it didn't ferry across to Muscatine, it was taken down to Muscatine on the plug line.
I just forget. When I hear train, I just forget people were riding the train back and forth to Muscatine. Yeah. You see the big train go blasting through town now, and it's hauling whatever coal and whatever else it is. Yeah. Probably not coal, but
no, you don't see that here.
No, what's in those? Grain. What's in those big black tubes?
Isn't that
probably
syrup?
Fuel oil or syrup,
oil or
whether some
food
are
products,
food grade or some are
Yeah, probably food
similar.
products. Yeah.
So this is kind of cool, though.
Yeah, Grandpa Ochiltree was born. My Grandpa Ochiltree, Gerald, was born in 1914, and he remembers riding the plug line to Muscatine to go downtown Muscatine and go to shopping. And he graduated from high school in 1932, and I think he said he rode down. Him and a bunch of his friends rode down in 32, and they graduated just as a school trip.
Are there any old posters from the train depots that say plug line, or was that even a thing? Did nobody probably even advertised it, right? It was just there. You
might have something from the Wilton depot for it was just a pedestrian pathway. Yeah. But there's an old photo. I think one of the old photos is of the plug line engine and the guys that ran it.
Yeah,
that's we've got one of those in the city hall, I think.
Yeah.
I can't wait to say this organically. I can't wait to be on my way to Muscatine, to be picking something up, and someone calls me and says, "Where are you at?" or "What are you doing?" I'm going to say, "I'm on the plug line. I'm heading down to Muscatine to pick up some goods." I cannot wait to say I'm on the plug line.
Well,
I can't wait till you.
I'm going to say it organically.
The one that would be interesting, and maybe there's no remnants left, is the line that went up to Lime City. That came out of the depot. You can see it in aerial shots, the path, but that may be so long gone that there's nothing to find.
Yeah, that line terminated at Lime City. Didn't go any further north from there, and
it was specifically for hauling limestone, product. Yeah.
What's this stamp thing? Is that a notary stamp?
Well, the stamp thing goes with this information here and this stool. It's kind of a
not the My Pet Monster though. That's mine.
The monster sitting on the stool is not part of it.
That's from Joe Brameyer history, circa 1986-ish, right in there.
Did you sleep with it?
Yeah. You know what's sad?
Comfort toy.
That's not my original one. Oh. So I had a My Pet Monster.
Yes.
And then just like most toys, especially plush toys like that, they eventually, meet their shelf life. And he just disappeared from my life. And during COVID, when I'm on these online auctions with nothing better to do but buy stuff I don't need that, takes me back to my childhood, I bought a My Pet Monster because I had one.
Has it gone up in value, or is it pretty reasonable?
Probably 10x at least. No, I mean, You know what? Those, I can tell you, those sell consistently like that, missing the orange handcuffs for $50 to $90 online.
Really?
Yeah. And if you have the handcuffs, so they came with an orange handcuff that you could like break apart and put it back together. It's super cool.
There's a lot of lonely, sad people in your generation.
That's really great that a child played with a toy with handcuffs. That's neat.
Yeah. Now, a monster of all things.
That's really neat.
Yeah. And then they made the football version too, but that's a whole nother deal.
I've seen that version.
Yeah, the football version. Yeah.
I like that one better.
He's the original.
I've seen it.
Well,
Anyway.
I never had a cuddle toy like that, but I had an electric guitar I bought when I was in 8th grade.
You had 2 brothers and a sister.
Yeah. Well, I did sleep with my older brother.
That was your cuddle toy.
It was a small.
Yeah,
it was a
no one
small
told
house.
you though. Yeah,
You go down there and you go, how did we all stay in that place?
yeah. Oh, that's great. So tell us about the stool that the My Pet Monster is sitting on.
Okay, so the stool actually is a stool that I actually sit on every day at my desk in the candy kitchen. And it's a desk that is this desk that's here. I don't know if you can see that.
I'm going to
very
hold it up
well.
to the camera here while you're talking.
Is that Ethan Allen?
No, it was before Ethan Allen. This desk is actually was actually in the candy kitchen office. Gus Nopolis sat at that desk for many, many years. And at some point it got taken out of the office and it was put in storage and then ended up in our hands, and we put it back in the office probably about 9 years ago.
Wait a minute. That's important to me. It was in, and then it was out, and then it was back in.
Yeah, there's more to the story. So the desk, actually, this desk and that stool are the original stools that go together, and they were the clerk's desk at the Union State Bank. And the Union State Bank would be where the smoke shop was most recently downtown on the corner where Doubt's jewelry store was. That was the Union Bank building. And it was the Union Bank was organized in 1878. And it was moved to that location in 1886, I believe, and when that building was built. This desk was in that building as the clerk's desk in that building. And so it was from the Union Bank. And actually, the first person to sit at that desk would have been Henry Geisler's, who had the first city lot in Wilton. His son was the first clerk that sat at that desk. And he actually, his grandson became a famous Hollywood attorney.
Yeah.
And he defended several interesting murder trials in California with Hollywood people.
Wow. So this desk is original to the town.
Yeah, this desk goes back to for sure 1886. When the original Union Bank offices were in the Eddie Freddie Willie Maurer building, which sits across from the Shirley's Style Shop there on the corner, and then they moved from there in '86 when they built the building, 1886. So this goes back. The stool goes back. This goes back. This sat on the desk. This was actually a later stamp, and the stamp actually is a notary seal for Clarence Budleer, and he was a notary.
Can I see that?
Yep.
Wow.
So that used to sit on the desk, and Mary Dorothy Budleer gave that piece to the museum. This desk was somehow acquired. Gus Nopolis acquired it. I don't know when, but it ended up.
I think he was always on the lookout for used furniture.
Yeah, used furniture.
Thelma gave me it's a library, oak library desk that she said he had at home, that he did all of his bookkeeping and book work on and stuff for years and years and years. So I've got that up. Debbie uses that for her. I don't know what she does in that room. She keeps the door shut.
I'm curious. That's a whole nother podcast. I'm curious though. Have you looked into like the maker of the desk?
So I have multiple pictures. When we moved it back in the candy kitchen, we took multiple pictures, front, back, side, and we looked everywhere. I've not found who had made it. I'm sure it was probably. It looks like it was probably bought and shipped here. I don't think it was made by someone, but you can see it in this picture.
Because let's do the math quick. How old is this desk? It's what, 150 years old?
Probably 138 years. That'd be right. 1886. 1986 would be
14
140.
years.
130
And the first
years.
city clerk sat at that
No,
desk.
not city clerk. The bank, Union Bank.
The Union
clerk.
Bank clerk.
Yep. So you can see in this picture, not very well, but here's the safe, and that desk sits right here with that stool. You can see the stool.
I'm going to take pictures of these, and then when I post this as an actual video, I'll put these in there while we're talking about it.
And this is the building right here that we're talking about. Mm-hmm. Most recently, the smoke shop, which Guy Doubt would be so proud.
Yeah, my earliest memory is that used to be the post office.
Yep.
And
Yep, that building.
then they built a new one in 1959 and it left there. And I remember our old box number, box 696, in that old building.
And where were the boxes in that building?
I couldn't.
When you walked in?
I couldn't tell you that because I was too little. You know, I just knew that was the post office. And you go in the front door. I want to say in my mind's eye, they're to the left or something. I couldn't tell you for sure. I know Kermit Christensen's barbershop was around the back.
Yeah, that's right.
Yep.
Wow. Yep. You know what's wild? And I'm speaking probably on behalf of the younger people that are out there.
You're not that young, Joe.
No, I'm not that young, but I know people who are a little bit younger than I am. But what's interesting is in this day and age where we have so much noise coming at us, you forget sometimes that there is a past to everything. And when you look at these pictures, just the detail, like I'm guessing that was Bud Lear standing behind the counter there.
Clarence Bud Lear.
Clarence Bud Lear dressed just like a very nice gentleman behind the counter there, and like that giant safe, and just how things worked back then. Mm-hmm. You know, it's just
very different.
You don't reflect on the past as much, and you don't want to dwell on the past, but it's nice to look back at some of this stuff and go, yeah, where we're at today is because of where we were at yesterday.
Well, then if you think about this desk, if you see how tall it is, you've got this tall stool, and it isn't very comfortable to sit in that stool to do work, but I do use it every day. But I thought about this a long time ago when I first put it in there. This is, people were all about these stand-up desks. Well, this is a stand-up desk, and I stand at it a lot. So we had that type of thing already 130 years ago. So anyway.
What's up with the cocaine bottle there, or whatever that is?
This is actually not cocaine. This is actually a Star Drug medicine bottle. It says Star Drug, Wilton, Iowa, right embossed right on the top of it, raised letters. And it is one that was given to me by, I shouldn't even said it. No, I can't say it. But anyway, someone in Wilton gave it to me. She's still living, and she gave it to me.
How many of those are around with the embossed Wilton Star Drug on there?
I would say one.
One? Yeah. I feel like I need to have like white gloves on right now.
So I have
this is cool.
I have two.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I missed the
but
half.
I have to give my dad, Leo Ochiltree, credit for the other one, because the other one's this big. It's a little smaller, and it actually is embossed exactly the same way with a cork, because that would have been a cork top. You're talking, that's going back to the 1870s probably.
Casey, can I hand this to you so you can hold it up in front of the camera there?
But there's two that I know of that I've seen.
What do you suppose was in that?
Who knows what would have been? Anything that they would have put a label on the back of what it was probably, but they advertised the Star Drug and the embossing. My dad had found the other little bottle. It's about 2 inches tall, in one of the Wilton City dumps, which is sits south of where Lattawell and Pump is. Mm-hmm. The old city dump sits just south of there, and over the years, we've trespassed and found bottles there ever since my dad was little.
Really?
But L.C. Cole used to own it, and that's when Dad would go there when L.C. Cole owned it, and he went to that dump and found that bottle when he was young.
How neat.
So this one, like I said, was given to me, and I don't know where she got it from. But anyway.
It'd be neat if somebody could get out there and dig real deep and find another one.
Yeah. So
I think I know a buyer. I know a buyer if you can find one.
Yeah. Well, they're not for sale, so.
They are pretty rare, that's for sure.
Yeah.
The closest thing we have to that is we got one from Wester Drug at Muscatine for my Aunt Frances Laukamp.
Is it embossed? Is it?
It's a printed label. Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
I don't know what the medicine was, but yeah, it was Francis Laukamp.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting. Like this embossing on here, the paper label would have came off, but of course, a long time ago. But the embossing is amazing. These drug bottles are kind of collectible, as you probably know.
For sure.
So, especially with the town. Anybody from the town wants to buy the bottles related to their town. But I was fortunate; both of them were given to me and didn't have to pay for them. But they're really cool.
What else you got?
Well, if you go over here to the red phone, that was Art Giesi's phone. That sat on his desk.
Okay, give us some context. Who was Art Giesi?
Art Giesi was the police chief in Wilton for many years. Probably when Ted was in high school. And,
a little after that too. Yeah.
And that was his emergency phone in his house.
Was that in his house? Mm-hmm. So it was a direct line.
Direct line. And his granddaughter, Kim Giesi, who graduated in '84 from Wilton. She gave it to me. Her married name's Smith now, but she gave it to me when her dad died. And Steve Giesi was her dad.
Okay, sure.
And Steve, I think, was my dad's age. I think 66.
Yeah.
Anyway, this phone, she said, was on the desk, and it was a direct line for Grandpa to answer if there was any police business, and she was never to touch it.
As a city councilman from Wilton, I have to say law enforcement has become much more complex.
Exactly.
Hello?
We should just go back to that.
Yeah.
Might be easier.
Hello?
All right, then, Lynn, I'm going to test your history of Wilton.
Okay.
Name me one call that you can think of definitively that would have came across that phone, and Art would have picked up the phone, and someone on the other line would have said, "Art, we need you because this just happened."
Probably when there was a train derailment in 1968.
Well, that was right down from his house. He probably heard that.
Probably knocked the phone off.
Probably knocked the phone off the desk. Wasn't that 68, Ted?
I think 68.
Yeah, and it was Clausen
and
Rollins
Dale, Coach Krameyer. Yeah.
Coach Krameyer. So
What happened? Do we know what happened with the train derailment?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
What happened?
Yeah. Not sure we're supposed to say.
No, you can say.
Casey, Raleigh's son, showed me the official deposition of the accident report. I don't recall it all, but it was kind of like they were trying to...
Hold up.
Yeah.
I want to make sure we get this right. Give me the year one more time.
1968.
1968.
November.
In November of 68.
A light snow was coming down.
Okay.
It was a beautiful day.
All right. Fair enough. How much was a carton of eggs? Anyway, so where did the train derail at? Like, was it eastbound or westbound? Or does that not matter?
It was eastbound.
So it was heading towards the Quad Cities.
At Cypress and 4th Street. Straight down from Braemeyer's service station.
Okay, so you pull out of Dad's shop, take a right. It derails right there.
Right there.
What caused the train to derail? Do we know what caused it?
Well, the prime mover was Raleigh's tow truck.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So set it up for us, Ted.
Well, have you heard the account?
I have. But
okay, go ahead.
Well, my understanding was they were trying to remove a tree stump.
That's what I heard.
And they were gonna remove a tree stump, and I can't remember where that actually was happening.
I think their plan was trains hardly ever go by anymore. We're going to drive down the track a ways and get that tree stump.
Yeah.
So there was a couple people that were. Who were the people?
Coach Krameyer,
Dale,
and Raleigh Clausen,
the
proprietor of the DX station across the street from Braemeyer's service station.
In the now what we call the REC parking lot. There used to be a gas station there.
Right.
Correct.
So Clausen and Krameyer, they are using a tow truck to pull out a stump.
Yes.
And clearly close to the tracks somewhere there.
And just imagine in your mind, the 5 o'clock rocket is coming.
Yep.
Oh. And are they parked over the tracks or something like that to leverage the tow truck? I'm assuming they're using the cable to pull out the...
I think somehow they got hung up on
Yeah.
the tracks in
Yeah.
the process of trying to either remove or haul the tree trunk.
Right.
So just imagine, if you will, here it is in the distance. Okay, Dale, we've got time. We can get.
And they got hung up. I do understand they got hung up. I can't remember I don't know the logistics of how they got hung up.
Yes.
But the hanging up caused the accident.
Yes.
Wow.
The train gets there, the tow truck is still there, and off it goes.
Yeah.
So the train T-bones hits the tow truck somehow.
It derails behind the old REC buildings there.
All behind there, all the flipped over on their side.
That had to have been a spectacle.
Yeah.
Oh, Channel 8 News was there.
Yep.
I don't know if Channel 6 was there, but I know Channel 8 made it out for that. Yeah. And they had their cameras and the reporters. And I think the next night was the athletic banquet. You know, and we almost didn't have a coach for the athletic banquet.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. I think I have a picture of the tow truck somewhere. I'll have to dig
If
that
anybody's
out.
watching this, comment and add to this story, because this is one I've never heard of. I never knew there was a train derailment in Wilton.
Well, Lynn, you were just
I was just born.
yeah, and I
68.
I think I was like 15 or something like
So
that.
you remember it.
Yeah, I remember it. Absolutely, yeah. But yeah, it was it was quite the event, and I believe there was a close call of sorts, whether it was Gray or Raleigh. One of them made the last ditch jump from the cab of the tow truck.
Yeah. Oh, so they were just trying to get that.
How do you get it out of there?
It was really close.
Well, I mean, that was 3/4 of the assets of Clausen's DX.
Yeah.
He wanted to try and save that tow truck.
That's right.
Oh, my gosh.
My guess is it was probably Raleigh, because, Raleigh was the Silver Star winner in Iwo Jima.
Yeah.
And so I don't think many things frightened him after Iwo Jima. So
It was a close call. And I do know Merrill Nouse has talked about it. He worked at REC at the time, and he remembers getting the call, and they took some of the passengers. I think took a lot of them up to City Hall and got them kind of to safety, and so a lot of REC guys helped with.
Wow, so this was like a whole rescue effort and police, fire, the whole deal.
Oh, yeah.
Well, of course. I mean, it's a derailment, but.
Yeah.
Well, we only had the 2 white fire trucks then. We might have had one of the red ones by then. We didn't have as much equipment back then for some reason.
Oh, I hope you can find a picture of this.
Yeah.
I'll put the
sure-
picture with the reel when I post it.
I'm sure I've got a picture of the.
It was big
Tow
news
truck.
in the Advocate.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was big news.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, I'm sorry.
No,
Lynn.
I'm done.
I do need to talk to you guys before we go, and we do need to have some serious talk here.
Yes.
The alumni banquet is coming.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It'll be my 25th year.
Yes.
I believe it'll be Dad's
50th.
50th. So those are 2 milestones. I have hosted the alumni banquet twice now. I was a guest speaker the first year, and then I've hosted it twice. I feel like if no one is stepping up and saying, "Hey, I want to do the whole thing," I think I'm ready to take part in it. But what I want to do is, whose Superman ringer is that?
That's me.
Oh, okay. Of course. of course.
My insulin is dropping.
I would be interested in hosting the alumni show, if we can call it once again the alumni show, not the alumni banquet. I want to do the alumni show, the alumni show.
Mm-hmm.
I think this kind of format works. I'd love to bring the couches up there, the chairs. I'd love to bring in guests at like 5-6 minutes at a shot, talk about one thing, and I'd love to go live. I'd love to do the whole live thing. And I think we can put together a really nice show.
Well,
so
communication-wise, we have Wi-Fi at the community center, so that's you can certainly do that.
Okay.
And we now have a full set of working curtains at the community center stage.
Oh, you got curtains now?
Full curtains.
I love curtains.
Front curtains, middle.
You got to have
back
curtains.
curtains. Oh yeah.
Because then we can do a set change if we need to.
You could. You absolutely could.
Did I hear you say you have back curtains too?
Yeah.
So things could get moved behind the back curtain and then brought into the
Yeah, you got about an 7-foot pathway at the
double
rear.
curtain. It's a double curtain.
It's a triple curtain. You got the front curtain, middle curtain, back curtain.
I didn't even know they did triple curtains.
That's the normal way you do a stage. It gives it more flexibility for various events and stuff, like when Lynn hosts one of the casket shows. That
I haven't done one of those.
You haven't done a casket show in a
Not
while.
for a while.
This is our
Well, I think
Slumber.
anyway. I'm
Eternal
toying
slumber.
around with it. I'm toying around with it.
well, make sure you wait till like the last day
Why
of
don't
March,
you decide in March?
Because when is it? It's in March.
It's April 6th
5th,
or 5th.
April 5th.
That's
It's
coming
April
up
5th. Well, it
fast,
better be the
guys.
5th. It's a Saturday, I know that. But yeah, I wonder who this is.
So yeah, I hope everything's okay.
Well, let me check. Might be my doctor.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the 6th is a Sunday. Don't come on the 6th.
So it'd be that Saturday night.
Saturday the 5th.
Saturday night.
Okay.
And the last time, I have to say, it worked out very well. It was very well received, very popular. People still talk about it, even to the point where the next year we had to cancel it because we just figured we couldn't match it. 2020.
Well, thank you for saying you canceled it because of me. You certainly didn't. I mean, I think people had a good time while they were there, but 5 minutes later, it's like, all right, what's for supper? But
Okay.
it was nice. It was nice. The Advocate gave some good press, and it was fun.
It was a lot of fun.
But that format can't work for me anymore because that was months of preparing like pre-done videos
that was
and
a killer.
skits.
That was a lot of work, wasn't it?
It was a lot of work.
Well,
Lynn, I know you've put a ton of work into the alumni banquets. Ted, that goes without saying. You put a ton of work into
we
these.
even stole the idea. We did the couple of the beaver ones.
Yeah.
They got pretty good kudos.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we've kind of tapped that well to where
He's retired. The Beaver's retired.
Beaver's retired, and we're
Living in
just
Boca Raton.
and we're just out of ideas, Joe.
Well, I would like to get the box set. I feel like if we're going to do it, I need to do the trilogy.
Trilogy?
Right? Yeah, because I've hosted twice. One more. We've got the trilogy done. I can say I'm done. I think it's a wonderful thing that you do with the alumni banquet. I think it's wonderful. But maybe, like, is there a committee I need to talk to about this?
Start with Lynn.
Why don't you start? Why don't you just come to our next meeting in January?
Okay, but I'm not bringing a trapper keeper. I'm not even going to bring a pen because I haven't committed to this yet. But what I'm saying is I think I might want to hear what this is all about. And
January is very close to March, which is right next to April.
Yeah, so we need to. So why don't we talk between now and
when's the next meeting?
The 3rd of January, I believe.
All right. I will come with a list of, I don't want to say demands. A list of, I'll come with a wish list
Okay.
of things how I kind of see this playing out.
All right.
But I would love to just pack that. The house is going to be packed regardless, but I would love to have this where people are watching out on Jumbotron out in the parking lot.
Yeah.
I'd love it to be that packed. And furthermore, I want to live stream it at some of the other locations around town. I want to be able to live stream it down to Artie's, so if people are down there, they can watch it. I'd love to live stream it down at the Axe and Oak. I'm sure they have smart TVs on the wall down there, right?
If you pick your YouTube channel and set that up, you can live stream, and they could all tap into that live stream.
All right. Well, then we're going to end on a plug here, because the only way I can do this is if I get my my YouTube channel up to enough subscribers where I can go live on my YouTube channel. Because right now we're just doing the Facebook thing.
Right.
So just look up Joe Brameyer, will you please, on YouTube. Will you do that right now? Just look up Joe Brameyer. You'll find me. I have very few subscribers. We just started that page. But once I get to a certain threshold, we can go live on YouTube, which is a must. We got to get there.
Yes.
And on TikTok, you can also look up Joe Brameyer on TikTok. I need to get to that threshold so we can go live on TikTok as well. So if you're liking what we're doing here on Facebook, you could now watch it live on TikTok. You could now watch it live on YouTube. But we got to get the subscribers. So if you haven't liked and subscribed at Joe Brameyer yet, please do. Don't do it for me. Do it for the community.
Yes.
So we can be live to more live people.
I think there are several options available for live streaming, including YouTube, that doesn't require your viewership levels. I think you can grab a channel, use that channel. And I
want to use the Joe Brameyer channel.
Well, that'd be the best way to do it.
I mean, we can do it on the Treadmill Hero channel, which we're doing now. We're actually live streaming this on the Treadmill Hero Live because we have enough followers. But I think that content needs to be more, fitness equipment related, and the Joe Brameyer stuff needs to be more of this kind of fun stuff with people from around Wilton. So anyway, that was a shameless plug. That was a grotesque plug. That took like 4 minutes, so I didn't mean to do that.
Well, you worked it in good. That was great.
Well, thank you.
And the rotisserie saunas are on sale till when?
Only till the end of the year. When the clock strikes midnight, everything goes back up to MSRP. It's not my rule. It's the manufacturer's rule. They gave us a special discount to pass on to the end user. So why would we want to pad margin in that? We want to pass the savings on to them, but once it's done, our cost goes back up.
Well,
I can't do anything about it.
I would like to plug the engraved veteran pavers for the Freedom Rock.
Please do, because I think this is a neat thing.
Yes, we're
back on the elevator.
Yeah, back on the
We're going to the 4th floor.
We got off on the wrong floor. The Muscatine County Freedom Rock, we have over 700 plus engraved pavers down there. If you've seen it in front of the Wilton Depot, Troy Anderson nicknamed it Wilton's front porch, which is, I think, apropos.
That's very nice.
Very nice. But we are taking orders for engraved pavers for your favorite veteran, whether it's grandma, grandpa, your aunt, your uncle, cousin, brother, sister. It's a very nice, almost memorial type place that people come from out of town to visit it and so forth. On the 31st of December, we're stopping orders. We're going to put in probably another 20 engraved pavers in springtime, early summer. And you can find us on Facebook. You can find, if you go to Ted Marolf and find me, you'll see that I've posted things there. They're $150, $200, and $300. And it's just a nice way to honor somebody that served their country. Can you imagine giving away 4 years of your life? Whether you were in combat or not. I mean, combat, obviously, but that's 4 years gone. Yeah. And, that's a chunk of change out of your lifespan. So we're not going to do it anymore. We're done. It'll put us up around 750 engraved pavers, and now's your chance.
What's the difference in price? Like, why do you go from 150 to 300? Like, what do you get?
Yeah, 150 is 2 lines. It's a oblong rectangle.
It's one long brick?
It's one long paver.
Okay.
And 2 lines of text.
Okay.
And then there's the medium one, I call it, I think it's 200. And that gives you 3 lines of text. It's shorter, but it's fatter. And then the big one, which most people tend to order because it gives you up to 4 lines of text, and it's bigger. And
okay.
So it's that you can see all about it on the Muscatine County Freedom Rock Facebook page. They show everything there and the order forms there and all that.
Or just at Ted Marolf Facebook,
you'll find it. Facebook, you'll find it.
Has my dad booked one for Grandpa Louie yet from Lou Brameyer or for Lou Brameyer?
I'd have to look at the list.
Okay, I'm gonna commit right now. I want to do the $200 one for Lou Brameyer if no one else has done it. And if no one else has done it, then Dad and I will go halvesies. I'll ring him out for 100.
You guys were the first.
I thought he did one.
Yeah,
did we do one?
I think you did one. You were
Sounds like I owe Dad some money.
Yeah. You were the very first paper we sold. We had a picture in the paper. Yeah,
there was a picture. Yeah.
There was a picture in the paper.
Yeah.
When was this?
Well, you're a big city boy. You can't pay attention to everything that goes on here.
Well, what I'm saying is, if there was a picture in the paper, I would have liked to have been in the picture.
Oh.
I would have liked to have been in the picture, even though I didn't throw in any money for it.
You're going to have to work out that family thing at Christmas.
I was going to say, that little green plush, that should have been a green plush toy there. It had jealousy.
Man, unbelievable.
Rear its ugly head.
Well, before we go, and I want to say goodbye to Lynn here, but Ted, on that note with the Freedom Rock.
Yes.
With our shop being down right there by the depot, right by the Freedom Rock, I will tell you, and I'm not just saying this to make everybody feel good about the Freedom Rock project, there is a constant flow of people down there. Every day, there's usually a couple that pulls up, they read the plaque, they take the pictures, they walk around. And so that, I feel, is a very special thing. I'm not a veteran myself, but I have to imagine if I was a veteran from Wilton, to see that down there as a nice token of thanks, I think it's a very special thing. And there was certainly a lot of people that played a big role in that, but you had your finger in that too. So,
well, it was a lot of people that pulled it together, but it has turned out to be a very nice attribute to the city. It really is.
Absolutely.
Lynn, I'm not going to see you until, well, you're not going to be back in here until after Christmas. So thank you for bringing in all this stuff. Is there anything you want to plug? Do you have like a page you'd like to plug?
Well, the WiltonCandyKitchen.com. Always go there. Lots of merchandise in our shop you can buy. We have some new shirts.
I do like those sweatshirts.
All of our shirts are retro Wilton typically, or our own personal designs. Make sure you go get one of the Wilton calendars to help benefit our museum project. They're available at the Candy Kitchen for $24. All proceeds go to the archives.
You know what's funny is I've seen the T-shirts hanging up down there. I've seen the sweatshirts. I love the new designs. But prior to the window walk, like right before we went live on the window walk, I was like, you know what? I want like a Candy Kitchen shirt. And I bought one and I put it on, and I bet I've worn that thing 4 times since. It's cool. Like, it kind of makes you feel kind of like very Wilton-y to wear either something like that or a Candy Kitchen shirt. So go down there and buy some swag from Lynn and Brenda down at the Candy Kitchen.
I mean, support all of our businesses here in town over the holidays. There's lots of restaurants, bars, and places to shop. So,
Ted, you've got a school function to get to. Lynn, I'm sure you're just going to go right back to work. So we'll let you go right back to work. And I want to thank everybody for stopping in and viewing in today. Thank you for bringing in all the cool stuff. We're going to have you back. Ted, you might make this lucky spin again and have you come in because you're always a fun guest, too.
Okay,
so.
Merry Christmas, Ted.
Merry Christmas, Lynn. Congratulations.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Merry Christmas.